We're here at the National Science Week Hunter Science Festival at Newcastle Museum. It is so full of excitement. There are heaps of exhibits, heaps of interesting people, lots of topics to explore, and we're going to talk to a few of those amazing people on the podcast today. Our next guest was Lily Mickaill, speaking to us about plants, botany, and regeneration. Today I'm speaking with Lily Mickaill, and she's here at the Hunter Science Festival in Newcastle, celebrating National Science Week. And Lily was actually invited to be a guest speaker on the day to talk about her pathway into science. Lily's currently working at the Royal Botanic Gardens in Sydney. And full disclosure here, I have met Lily before. She was a previous housemate of my daughter, and I believe you both travelled overseas in your undergraduate years to Borneo.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay, Lily. So you've had a really interesting career pathway so far, and you're still such this young, emerging, what do they call you, an early career scientist?
Botanist.
A botanist. You're a botanist. Okay, we love a good botanist. You don't get many on the show because I think you're spending so much time out in the bush. You don't care for people, it's more about the plants.
It's definitely always more about the plants.
Do you have a favourite species or genus of plants? What's your specialty?
Oh, that's such a hard question. I always get asked, and choosing a favorite is impossible.
Oh.
But there's a few families that I love. I love the Chenopodiaceae or the chenopods. They're funky arid plants with the really interesting looking fruits.
Like a cactus? No.
Like some of them are fleshy like a cactus, but and it can be spiky too. So yeah, like Australian version of a cactus. There's a really nice orchid that I worked on at Barrington Tops called Diura spinosa. It's a donkey orchid. It's purple. Yeah, super pretty. There's another plant, Paca sparsa, that grows in the Gross Valley in very remote places, and it's got a long white flower, and it's also very cute and close to my heart.
So it's
so many
flowers, is it? You're attracted to the fruits or the flowers
yeah,
of plants?
for sure.
So you're looking for beauty?
No, I'm looking for clues. I'm looking for clues because it's very hard to identify a plant unless you have the fruit or the flowers. So I'm always looking for them. And then, of course, the more unique and different, the more excited I get.
So you studied biology at university or in...
For my undergraduate, I studied environmental science.
Okay.
And then for my master's, I studied the biodiversity and taxonomy of plants, Masters of Science.
Okay, so your undergraduate degree and then master's. Tell us about the master's.
So the master's was in Scotland, in Edinburgh. It was 2 parts coursework and 1 part research. For my thesis, I studied the viability of conifer seeds after different times in storage. So some of the seeds were stored at 5 degrees and some at -18.
Oh, doesn't that kill the seed? Oh, well, this is what you were testing.
Yeah. -18 is for a lot of plants really good if the seed is orthodox. So if it tolerates drying and freezing, the colder, the better.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you think of plants that go into senescence in autumn and then, they get covered in meters of snow and then spring hits and then all of a sudden they start sprouting. So, okay, they must have a mechanism.
Yeah, they're
like
pretty
cryopreservation
tough.
almost.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've always had a passion for plants then?
I've definitely always had a passion for nature. And then until I finished, at first I was into rocks.
Geology.
Yeah, and then I realized plants were way more exciting.
Maybe a little bit more personality. Okay, so before you started your role at the Botanic Gardens in Sydney, had you ever been involved with citizen science or voluntary science projects before?
Yeah, I think the first one was probably at my own house where I grew up. I started doing restoration on the property.
Okay.
And
where is this?
This is in the Lower Blue Mountains.
Okay, yep.
And my friend and I, we did a couple of projects. We set up some plots and we would record what plants were there before we removed the weeds, and then try and go back and record what plants were there after and later. And then there was a big event of caterpillars in the backyard one year, and we spent a lot of time recording on each of the plants.
How old were you when you did this?
Maybe I was 19.
Wow, so teenager and you just knew.
Oh, I had some guidance from people around me.
Okay.
For sure, yeah.
So you had some scientists saying this is a good methodology to follow and this is the sort of data you need to collect and so did that lead you down a particular pathway?
Definitely doing the weeding and the restoration on my property led me into plants. That's where I learned that I loved plants. When I would remove the weeds and see all the different things that would grow up afterwards, I was like, whoa, plants is definitely my interest.
Okay, so you've been able to show in your own backyard effectively how a
Yeah.
bit of manual labour, removing some weeds can regenerate
Yeah.
from the seed that's in the soil.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Okay. And when you went to Borneo, were you involved with any projects over there?
Yeah, so I completed my work experience over there. I stayed for 2 weeks with the Adaro mine. The main project was sort of looking at their reclamation areas and the local community's involvement with nature and seeing how, if there were any ways that we could improve the reclamation that was happening on the mine sites. So they took me around to all different places, showed me the natural forests, the reclamation areas, the local people that love the orchids, and asked me like, how can we improve? And so
Great.
yeah, I wrote a report and yeah.
So that was really applied science in a voluntary capacity.
Yeah, for
Do
sure.
you know if they implemented any of your recommendations?
I asked them, they didn't. They said it was super helpful and they have used it a lot. So
That
Yeah.
is that's inspiring. So you get that sort of feedback and it keeps you going, was it? It's like the motivation you need.
yeah, for sure.
And what sort of projects are you involved with at the Botanic Gardens?
At the Botanic Gardens at the moment, I'm working on a framework for restoration seed collecting.
Okay.
So in the past, seed collecting for conservation has been focused a lot on individual species.
Yes.
But now we're currently in a decade of restoration, so we need to transition more to community level seed banking. So some plant community types can have hundreds of species in them, so we need to know how can we capture that diversity in the most efficient way possible. So that's what I'm working on at the moment.
That's huge because you're talking about landscape scale
Yeah.
regeneration and taking all species. You're not just going, we'll put in 20 because we
Yeah.
know, they're the canopy or they're the shrub layer or the ground. You're saying, no, all of them. If you can find all of them that are going to seed at the right time and you can collect it. Wow, that is really exciting. Is this where you want to stay in this space for a while or have you got plans for bigger things?
No, definitely. I'd like to stay in the restoration space probably for the rest of my life. Or the seed banking, seed collecting, restoration space for sure. Yeah.
And is there a role for citizen scientists in the work that you do?
Oh, definitely. I think there's a huge role for citizen scientists to document the species diversity in areas of restoration before and after. Also a huge role for citizen scientists in seed collecting. It's a huge task to collect the seeds from as many species as possible. So
And knowing how to.
yeah, knowing how to, and also like processing all of the seed collections that come in.
Yeah.
At Plant Bank, Royal Botanic Gardens of Sydney, they take volunteers if they can provide a weekly commitment for processing seeds and germination testing. There's so many seed collections that need retesting, recounting. Yeah, there's endless things to do.
Yeah, and I imagine that's going to be critical to some of our ecosystems that are threatened. If you can have a seed bank,
Yeah, for
in
sure.
case of
yeah,
some natural
definitely.
disaster,
Exactly,
then
yeah.
you can go back and reestablish, hopefully, those
Yeah.
areas quickly.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
that's incredible work. So, all right, that is lovely to hear that citizen scientists can help you and they can play a role in this kind of regeneration work that you're doing. I know you've got to go off now and talk, but thank you so much for your time, Lily. We're
No,
going to
thank you.
follow your progress in this space. You're just emerging. You're this early career scientist and you've got a passion for plants, not just for the beauty, but for the seed side of it and the longevity of these species. So keep going.
Yeah.
Love your work.
Thanks very much for
Thanks,
having me.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Citizen Science Show podcast, brought to you from the Hunter Valley Science Festival at the Newcastle Museum during National Science Week 2025. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe to our show. It really helps us to reach more citizen scientists like you.